This is a tutorial for instructors of the SGSC 1000 course. I'm going to walk you through all the steps to teaching the course. What you see here is what your course will look like when you've transferred it over to your D2L site according to Luck Watford's instructions. This tutorial is primarily for those who either did not attend the session we had face-to-face on how to teach the course, or who need a little bit more background on what's involved. The same content is in this video. Now, as you can see, the course starts off with a news section that you populate by adding news items by clicking on this link right here. If you click on New News Item, you can see that it opens up a box that you can populate with new news items. And you can set the beginning date and the end date for this news item to appear on the home page. If you select an end date, it will disappear from the home page at that date and time. The neat thing about the news feature is that you can reach all your students without having to send all of them the same email. In fact, the problem with email is that the students have to click on the email link to get it. But with a news item, and we'll go up to the course home, as you can see there's a link to the course home on the home page, you would see your news item in this box. And so the students would instantly see it whenever they logged on to the course. Now, talking about the nav bar, this is what's called a nav bar. And there are links to various items that will be important to students and you in the course. I've tried to keep these news items, or these items in the nav bar, reduced to essentials. But you can see there's two links to the course homepage. There's one up here, there's one here. The link to my home is to their central homepage, which includes all of the D2L courses they have for the semester. But let's go back to the home page. The next item you see is the content browser. And as you can see, you have all the central links to all the sections of the course. There are 4 modules to the course, and there are links to all 4. There's also a link to the syllabus. Let's take a look at the syllabus. If you click on the syllabus, you have a link underneath it to go directly to the syllabus. You click on that, and here is the syllabus. Now, I've edited it because not all of our instructors are teaching the course in exactly the same way. Most are, but the entry program instructors are going to have to modify the syllabus because not all of the sections of the syllabus are appropriate for the entry programs. That's what this red section reveals. If you are not an orientation instructor, you can ignore this material, and what you'll have to do is you'll have to delete this section up here, and you'll have to make these sections black again. And all the sections that are in red will have to be made black again. And you can do that by editing the page. You edit the page by going up to this arrow here, this down arrow, and then click Edit. And you can eliminate this paragraph by simply highlighting it and clicking Delete on the keyboard or the backspace, and then you would click Update. But I won't do that right now, but that's how you modify the syllabus or any other file in the course. You will have to modify the syllabus anyway because it doesn't have an instructor name, it doesn't have an office location and office hours, it doesn't have an email. You'll have to put all that in. And again, you do that by clicking the down arrow here and clicking on Edit. And then, of course, you click on Update after you've made the edits. So let's go back to the course home again. So there's a practice exercise quiz here, taking a D2L quiz, a practice exercise, which simply gives students a set of very few questions to see if they can learn how to take a D2L test. This test will be graded, but it will not count in the course. and the student can take this test as many times as they wish. So let's click on Module 1. We're not going to go over all this material, but I want you to see how it looks. And every module starts with a Start Here link, how to complete that module, in this case Module 1. All of the files that are necessary for this module are listed here. They are listed in another place in the course as well. And what you will see throughout this overview is that these files are redundant. They are located in numerous places on the course. So if the students need to find a file, it's not hard for them to find them. But if you click Start Here, how to complete Module 1, it takes them through the steps, step by step, on how to complete Module 1. Module 1 are the first 2 weeks of the course. And remember, you need to teach this course as it is structured. You cannot deviate from the curriculum. There's a lot here, and you can't add things to the curriculum because there's no time. We're only a 1 credit hour course. We must stick to the curriculum because this data that we're collecting for the assignments the students have to complete is necessary for assessment. And the assignments can only be completed if the content of the course is taught to the students. So in Class 1 it says you will know the steps to take to avoid academic probation. That's the learning outcome for Class 1. The learning outcomes are highlighted. In Class 2 you will know the requirements of the faculty advising checklist. And I tell you exactly what to tell the students in each class. You will be using a PowerPoint. There's a link to the handout for this. Students can look at it in advance. And there's also a PDF, how to calculate your grade point average. If you click on that, you will see it will take you there. And this is just straight from the section in the catalog on how to calculate a grade point average. So you can teach this to the students in the class, and they can do a little exercise if they want to see if they can crunch these numbers and get to the same number. And that way they can learn how to calculate their grade point average. Let's go back to the home page so we can go back to that gateway page. Under Module 1, Start Here, how to complete Module 1. Then you can show them the video on how to avoid plagiarism. There's a copy of the faculty advising checklist right here. All they need to do is learn the content of this list, but they have to learn it. They can't just cast their eyes upon it and expect to remember what's on it. They have to learn what's on it. So you may have to go over that in the class. There's a little video here on how they can find their transcript, the program map for their major, and a correct math course for their major. They will do that out of class, but you can show them the video or at least make them aware of it so they will know exactly how to retrieve these items. They will turn in these items in the next class for a grade. Also during Class 2, you will complete an in-class essay. That means the student will do that. And this tells them what they will have to complete. There is a rubric in the content list for this module. And then finally, each of these gateway pages tell the student what to do next. Go to the next file in the content list, a PDF on how to avoid academic probation, and begin. And you can go to the next item in the content list by clicking on this arrow right here. The next item in the content list is loading. It's this how to avoid academic probation. Now you will be able to present a slideshow with a PowerPoint, but that's the handout that they can take away or learn in advance so that they have a head start on that. You can go to the next file the same way. How to calculate your grade point average. Go to the next file the same way. Here's the faculty advising checklist. That's the next item in the content list. Now if they don't want to click on this link, they can go back to the home page. They can go down to Module 1 and they can find it here. Finding your transcript, program maps, and correct math courses, And the rubric for the essay in Class 2 is here. Finally, you have 2 quizzes: avoiding academic probation and calculating your GPA, and plagiarism and student etiquette. Now remember that the students take the quizzes out of class. They do not take the quizzes in class. There's 2 reasons for that. One, there's not enough time for them to take quizzes in class. They can take essays in class, but not quizzes, because they have to be taught things during the class time. They need to take the quizzes out of class. And the second reason is that most class sessions are not in classrooms where every student has a computer. And not every student is going to bring a computer with them to class. So there's simply no way for them to access D2L while they're in class. So you have to set these exams to be available to the students during the period when they should be available to the students, and only during that period. So you have to learn how to use D2L in order to do this. Now, in order to do this, you might think you could just click on the quiz, and if we click on the quiz, it does say quiz setup. So if you click on quiz setup, it does give you the option to set the release time for the quiz, and that's under restrictions. So you click on restrictions, and the first thing you need to do is you need to make the quiz active, like that. And then after you set the settings, you're going to click Save and Close to save those settings. Simply clicking active doesn't make it active. You have to save the setting. But for now, we're going to leave it inactive. But if you don't click active, it doesn't matter whether you set the release time properly. The test will not be active for the student, and they'll never be able to see it or open it. So you'll have to make it active, and then you'll have to click the calendar to determine the precise day it will start, say September 2nd, and you can click the time. And what you should do is click the time that starts at the end of the class that begins the period when the students can take the test. In other words, the students will take the test between classes. So I would give them the entire time between classes to open the exam. Not to take the exam, but to open the exam. The difference is that there's a time limit once they open the exam, and you set that limit down here where it says 60 minutes. You can set it to anything you want, but I would recommend 60 minutes and enforce it, because otherwise it doesn't mean anything. The student can take it all day long, even if it says 60. So you have to click Enforced. You can give them a grace period, and then once you've satisfied yourself with these selections, you can click Save and Close. Save and Close. And then the quiz will be available for 60 minutes during the time frame you've selected. But I'm not going to set those time frames. You have to set them. I've told you what they should be. They should be between the 2 classes, and I would stick to that. But you have to actually activate them so that, and set the times so that they indeed are open during those time periods. Notice that all of these quizzes are inactive at present. So your students will not be able to access them unless you make them accessible for the student by manipulating the course in the ways I've just described. So that is critical. That is critical. So the remaining modules operate exactly the same way. If you go on to Module 2, you'll see Module 2 is the longest module of the class. There are 7 weeks devoted to Module 2 because it's about advising. And once again, if you click on Start here, you get to a kind of a roadmap that students need to take for each class to get through the classes properly. And there are highlights, there are links to all the files they need to have, including quiz links like this one, D2L Scavenger Quiz, and a Dropbox for one of their assignments. And then Class 9 is the last class on advisement. So I think the navigation is pretty clear. And I hope that so far you understand how the course is going to work. You can also access the quizzes link up here by clicking quizzes. There's a calendar over here, and the calendar can be expanded by clicking here. Well, that's actually go to the calendar so you can see the calendar in full view. You can expand the calendar by clicking here, and you see a view. When there's something to be accomplished, the date will be highlighted, and this is June, and the course hasn't even been released, and these dates are highlighted. That's simply because I set the D2L practice quiz to be available starting now, so that the moment the student accesses the quiz, they can take the D2L practice quiz anytime. And as you can see, they can take it through September 5th. Remember, this quiz is graded, but the grade doesn't count. You can collapse this calendar. It will always be collapsed when the page opens by default. You can collapse it if you want. So that informs students of upcoming exams. Since we have not activated any of the quizzes except this one, you don't see any dates of upcoming tests, but you will. Once you activate them, the students will be alerted to the dates here. Now you see a link to SGSC 1000 on YouTube. This will change periodically. I will be able to change this, and I will have to send you the link to show you how to do this, so you can put this on your page. Your page will be detached from my control once you've moved it over. So you'll have to add the new YouTube videos that I create that will help students understand the material. One of the items in the course, the very last module, Module 4, is an assignment. If you click on it, you will see that it's how to create your Storify story. That's one of the assignments. Quiz box, submit your Storify URL here. Well, what is this Storify story? Well, this video explains that, how to create a Storify story. So if you click that, it walks them through the process. And it walks you through the process as well. But this is on YouTube, and they can access it right here. They can make it full screen by clicking here once they turn it on, once they activate it. And this will change from time to time, because after the first couple of weeks or so, I will have assumed that the students will have learned what's on this video, and there will be other videos that will appear. We also have a Twitter feed, a Twitter account, SGSC 1000 on Twitter. The students can follow it by clicking here. You may not know how to use Twitter, but your students, I am quite sure, do. And it's useful for you to learn how too. You can follow it as well. But you don't have to worry about this section, because when a student posts a tweet, I will respond to it in many cases. Not every tweet needs to be responded to by me or by anyone else, for that matter, but the students will be responding to each other's tweets because they will be following this account as well if they are interested in doing so. This is not an assignment of the course, but it is something where I can post useful items of information. For example, here's an overview of Root and Branch, the book for the course. And by clicking on this, they can go to a YouTube video that tells them more about the book they're reading. Here's an assignment for Module 1. This gives them another way to access that. Or watch a book discussion by the author on Root and Branch. And this is just an invitation. In order to tweet, you simply would type in this box and type a tweet of 130 characters or 140 characters if you didn't have this. But you have to show this because this is the handle that allows the tweet to be delivered to this box. And the student would then type in their comment and then tweet it, and it would be part of this rolling list. And other students could tweet back. Now, if the students abuse this, I can delete any tweets that are not appropriate. but chances are this is going to keep them interested in the course. And if you click on this link, you'll go to the Twitter account for this course. It's on Twitter, and let me show you what it looks like. There it is, SGSC 1000. And it has all the tweets that are related to the course. There's our book for the course. See an assignment on Module 1. This takes them through an assignment on Module 1 via video. Again, you don't have to worry about this. You don't have to do anything with this, but it's there for the students. And you might find it interesting once you attempt to, tweet on Twitter. Okay? So that pretty much sums up the look and feel of the course and how to negotiate it as an instructor. There is a grade section here, but more will have to be said about that, because I'll try to populate that, or I'll try to set that up for you. You can set it up for yourself. You can either do it on a percentage basis or on a point basis, but you have to do it according to the framework of the grading system as identified on the quiz. Each of the out-of-class quizzes are worth 5% of the student's grade. You cannot deviate from the value of the quizzes as set by the syllabus, but you can set up the grade book to conform to those grades or that grade structure. There is a class list as well. By clicking on the class list, you see a list of your students' names, and you can see how often they've accessed this D2L site. This is a form of attendance. Because the exams are only offered on D2L, the students must be logging on to D2L regularly, or they are not attending the class, and you should tell the students that. And by clicking on class list, you can see right next to their name the last time they logged on. And one of the important pieces of advice I have is that if you see a student who is not logging on regularly and frequently, you need to send them an email and ask them what's up. Or pull them aside, even better, in class and say, you cannot succeed unless you participate online. So that's basically it. It's a fairly long tutorial, but if you have any questions, email me at rryman@sgsc.edu. and I will be happy to answer you right away.